Hey guys, welcome to this video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about wrist flexion and extension, and we're going to be doing manual muscle testing of those motions. And so Key here is already in a pretty good position. I'm just going to make sure that his elbow is flexed here, which it is. If it's extended, that's that active range of motion, which won't let him bend his wrist as much. Flexion lets him bend his wrist more and puts more relief on his joint here to be able to flex that far and bend that far. All right, so since he's already in this position here, laying off the table, we're going to be testing his flexion. So he's just going to be putting his wrist all the way down. Perfect. I'm going to be feeling for that good end feel, which should be firm there. Perfect. And then next, I'm going to be putting him into that test position, which is about halfway. Hold that for 3 seconds. 2, 3. Perfect. Next, I'm just going to push down on his hand, and he's going to resist that pressure. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So he's sitting at a 5 there with max pressure there. Next, kind of going back to neutral here. He's going to be extending his wrist up to work on those extensors here. And so if you could go ahead and extend your wrist all the way up. Perfect. I'm going to be feeling for that good end feel, which is firm there. Perfect. And then I'm going to put him back down to that test position. Hold that for 3 seconds. Looks like you couldn't hold that for 3 seconds, so I'll try it again one more time. If you can go ahead and try to hold that test position for another 3 seconds. 1, 2. So it looks like he isn't able to hold that test position, but gets full range of motion here. So I would give him a 2, but I would also want to test his I want to put him in gravity min position for this. And so that would just be that his wrist is running parallel with the earth. And so for this one, I'm going to be testing his full range of motion here. So if you could just go ahead and do the full range of motion by extending your wrist back. Perfect, which you can. And then I'm going to have you go ahead and hold that test position as well from here. All right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So he was able to hold that test position. So that confirms for me that would be a 2. And so moving on to using the goniometer to take these measurements here. First, we're going to be measuring his wrist flexion again. And so the fulcrum is going to be lining up with the tricretrum, and that's going to be looking at his thyroid process of the ulna to be a little bit above that there, distal to that. So I'm going to be setting that there. This proximal arm is going to be lining up with his fifth metacarpal, and this distal arm here is going to be lining up with his ulna, kind of bisecting that. All right, Key, if you can go ahead and flex your wrist for me, please. Perfect. So he went all the way down there. So perfect. That's about lines up. And so looking at it here, he is at about 100 degrees passive. Oh, excuse me. He's at about 79 degrees passive or active. I'm going to push a little bit more. So he's sitting at about 80 degrees passive. And then next, you can go ahead and go to neutral here. Go ahead and flex your wrist upwards for me. Perfect. And that's going to be lining up with that fifth metacarpal there. All right. And so looking at this one, he's sitting at about 65 degrees active. I'm going to give him a little bit of push here. We got to about 71 degrees active. So that's how you do manual muscle testing and using the goniometer for the wrist.